After living in Victoria for a few months, Katie and I wanted to explore the island. Vancouver Island is one of the most beautiful places in all of Canada. It has so many amazing beaches all over the island, and Katie and I have been making a point to try and get to as many as we possibly could before we had to leave. Holy shit. Now, the crown jewel of all of these beaches was in Tofino. While a good chunk of the island doesn't get any waves at all, Tofino is a little bit further north and on the outside of the island, having big surfable waves and having trees that made it look like Hawaii. So there's one weekend where Katie and I were not working at all, and we were like, fuck it, let's go. So this is the story of Tofino, told in 4 different parts. I hope you enjoy. After a 5-hour drive from Victoria to Tofino, Katie and I got to see our first beach. The rocks, the perfect fine sand, it could not have been more beautiful. That evening, we headed to Cox Bay Beach to enjoy the sunset. Wow. We got up from our campground early the next day to go check out Long Beach. It may be weird to say, but going on this camping trip suddenly made me feel like an adult. I was no longer a kid who went away from home to go to film school. I was an adult who was living with his girlfriend and who was able to go on a camping trip because he wanted to. Don't know what I'm doing, I can't make up. We left, but then later came back for sunset. Can't see where I'm going, it's too dark outside. Why should I keep moving? There's no end in sight. Suddenly, the world and my future opened up to me. I didn't have to follow the exact path that I laid out for myself at the end of high school. I could ask myself what's really important to me without worrying about failing as an adult or doing it wrong. I'm here, I'm an adult, so what do I actually care about? Future is scary. Before leaving on our final day, we went to Wakananish Beach. As uncertain as my future sometimes felt, somehow this trip made me feel like everything was going to be alright. After what was an amazing trip, it was time to head home. But not before stopping at one last place. This trip was such an amazing adventure. And it was actually on this trip that Katie and I started to plan what would turn into our 3-month road trip across the United States. but more on that in the next video.